Hi everyone, I'm going to work through a demonstration of unit costs and profit maximizing output, and the problem appears in front of you labeled as problem P2-58. We're looking at the Oneida vineyards, and they've predicted the following costs for various levels of wine output. Now the marketing manager has also predicted prices for the firm's wine at different levels of sales. And we have 4 requirements. The first requirement is to calculate the unit cost of wine production at each level of output. Okay, well, the level of output appears right there, 10,000, 15, and 20,000 bottles. Why don't we enter that? That's 15,000 bottles and 20,000 bottles. Okay, let me format this all with no decimal places, and we'll adjust it as we need to when we get there. Alright, now we need to calculate the unit cost. So what's the unit cost of 10,000 bottles? It's right there to the left of my mouse, 212,400. So let's enter that. Let's enter the one for 15,000, which again to the left of my mouse is 234,600. We'll enter that. And we will enter for 20,000, and by now I think you know where I'm getting the information from. Then using Excel, we'll simply divide out those costs divided by the output to come up with a unit cost. Now in this case, let's put a dollar amount on that, and we can copy that formula down. We probably ought to put a dollar amount on this, get rid of the decimal places, and we've now solved part 1. Okay, that's the unit cost price at various levels of output. Let's work on 2. Calculate the company's profit at each level of production. And you know that profit would be equal to sales less costs. Assume the company will sell all of its output, and which level results in profit maximization. Okay, so we have on part B, we have output again. Let's put this here. This will be for number 2. And now we need to know sales revenues, total cost, and output. I'm going to move this over 1 here. And let's just label this here. We already know the costs, right? So we can drop that down here. And we'll relabel it for part 2 just to make this real clear. This one will be equal to the sales revenue, and I'm simply going to call it sales. We'll center it and underline it so it's easy to see, except I think I've formatted that a little bit different. So we'll format this the same. Alright. So sales at 10,000 bottles, it's going to be equal to 2160, right? So we can take the 21.60 times the 10,000 bottles to come up with that amount, 216. Let's put a dollar sign on it. Get rid of the decimals so we can see it. Now I'm going to copy that down just so I get the formatting for now. And then I'll go ahead and change that. At 15,000, we're going to get $18 each. So let me hit the F2, and we can, F2 key is an edit key. We'll put the $18 in. Come up with 270 for the second case. And in the third case of the 20,000, the marketing manager says we can get $14.40 for it. Hit the F2, change that to $14.40, right? And that would equal what the sales would be. Therefore, we can compute the profits. And again, I'm just going to use my painter to format from here. And profits then would equal that cell less that cell, right? We can copy that down, and we've answered part 2, dealing with what's the profit at every level, and which level results in profit maximization. Well, I'll bold it, and that's the 35,400. We see profit is maximized. Now we look at question 3, which doesn't involve any math. The question is, which is best for the company? 15,000 units. Why? because profit is maximized. And we're not interested in minimizing costs. We're interested primarily in maximizing profit. Now, number 4, why does the unit cost of wine decrease as the output level decreases? What might explain that? Well, this deals with the concept of variable and fixed cost. If we have variable costs, like production cost, then they go up in direct proportion to the volumes that we have. So we have 42,000 for 10,000 bottles. The costs go up as we sell more bottles, 63,000 and 84,000. We're going up as our sales and our production and our marketing activities, or all of our operating activities, increase. Now, look at fixed costs. Fixed costs remain the same. That is the definition of fixed cost. Within a relevant range, they stay the same regardless of the output. So what that means is when we compute the cost on a per unit basis, the fixed cost component drops on a unit cost. And that explains, if you will, why a unit cost of wine will decrease as output level increases. It's because the fixed cost per unit declines as production and sales increase. And why don't I type that out? And I'm going to use non-standard English just for the sake of time in the demo, because the fixed costs per unit decrease as production and sales volumes increase. And that is the solution to problem 2-58.